Oftentimes, the fear of imposter syndrome is, can I bring something to this table that advances the business, the organization, the culture, the mission, or the team? You bring something by adding a new level of challenge to the way that you show up.
The energy that Kaplan Mobray brings is because of his passion. Award-winning author of the 10Ks of Personal Branding, how your brand represents you out there to the world.
Seek failure. And what that means is seek the opportunity to do something that is not expected, not requested, not known, outside your comfort zone. It's going to allow you to thrive in this new space. Once you define your purpose, you can live your life extending your significance.
Live your life by design, not by default. That's Kaplan Mobray's theory. So Kaplan, what's your definition of success?
On a very human level, when I get up in the morning and I take a deep breath, that is the most successful part of my day. That is the most powerful definition of success that anyone can ever have. Literally, it doesn't matter where you are in your life, your business, your health. When you get up in the morning and you take a deep breath, that is the most powerful definition of success. So on a human level, on a practical level, meeting an objective, solving a problem, creating an opportunity, doing it in the way that you know how to do it, freedom, all those things I think define success. But when you believe that you, based on your being on this earth, can advance something and to make it better, that is success.
It makes me think that there's a lot of people out there who give themselves a definition of not successful because, I'm not successful compared to or compared with or based on. But with your definition of waking up, taking a deep breath, every person should wake up saying, I am successful.
Absolutely. Because with that breath comes the opportunity to make something better, either for yourself or for someone or something else, because you have that breath. And I think oftentimes we miss that in the busyness of life and work. And we miss just the simple gratitude that gives us the opportunity to make something better.
Buddy, where do you feel in your life you chose success? What was it as a young man, a boy? Where did it happen for you?
I think I had this motto in life: take a little, make it a lot. My parents, didn't have much. We grew up on the islands, but they moved to the United States, and just to put us in the near vicinity of opportunity, not that they could provide it, and I knew that as I did well in school as a young boy, as I did well in sports, as I did well in just civic activities and started to get awards and things like that, I realized that I was doing something that was going to create a generational change for my family. I was going to go to schools and be in rooms and be in scenarios that was going to create a different blueprint for what now life could look like. And that was our early underpinnings of success for me. And I accepted that responsibility with a sense of pride and honor.
Yeah. Do you find there's a formula for success, or these are the ingredients for success?
I think when I think about success, I think about, first of all, gratitude is really important because, you have to be grateful for the opportunity to make something better, which I think often people miss. I believe that you have to be intentional. And I'm going to break it down like this: 3 C's. Success happens either by chance, by choice, or by courage. Chance, you're in the right place, right time, right person, right skill set, right opportunity, and you walk in and success happens. That's chance. And that means, by chance, you create success. By choice, you choose success. So sometimes success chooses you, but sometimes you have to choose success. And that means you have to be intentional and committed. Most people have a goal that they want to achieve in life, but they don't sign up for the commitment that it takes to achieve that goal. So when you make success a choice, you're signing up for the commitment, the preparation, the work. I coach a lot of world-class athletes and leaders, and I realized that there were things that they did early on in their life that prepared them for elite levels of success later in life.
Who do you think that of all the ones you've coached, who do you think's the best at that?
I'm going to classify it more in terms of the patterns of, that I see. So I've coached some elite athletes, many names that you would know, and CEOs and leaders who have tackled really tremendous change in their organizations. the one key thing was this discipline and this effort and this non-negotiable commitment to change something. So they were willing to make the extra call, to put in the extra thought, to make the extra preparation. But there's always something they did that was over and above what was expected, asked, or requested. And that theme, that consistent theme of discipline and intention and commitment helped them to achieve extra levels of success. So I believe it's in the preparation. So, but the third C is courage. And success happens on the other side of fear. It's what happens when you take yourself outside your comfort zone, when you stretch yourself to go into a unknown perspective so you can learn, grow. And many times that experience of what's on the other side of fear that you do gives you this new level of growth, which creates a new level of success.
What's your theory on why fear wins more than courage?
Because fear is a vitamin, vitamin F. And oftentimes, fear, but it's one of those things, like people don't want to take their vitamins. A lot of times we don't want to take our vitamins or, our vegetables, but we know we need them for growth and supplements. People oftentimes don't want to lean into what's not comfortable, what's not known. We're groomed in life to find comfort. That's why we have pillows at night. We're groomed to do things that give us comfort, but we're not really groomed to be and live and socialize ourselves to always be uncomfortable. Fear is an uncomfortable energy, but it's an amazing supplement, amazing nutrient. So I always have this concept. I talk about it in the 10 Ks of Personal Branding, my book, Seek Failure. Seek failure. And what that means is seek the opportunity to do something that is not expected, not requested, not known, outside your comfort zone, but it's going to allow you to thrive in this new space, this new opportunity. But most people, we seek comfort and convenience, over, commitment and growth.
So where in your mind then does the relationship between success and failure, how do you see them going together? Or do they?
They do. I think they are very good. They're cousins, and I think that then they work hand in hand and have a very close relationship. So failure gives you a lesson learned, the gift of a lesson learned. It gives you the grit of resilience, meaning you had to push through something. And even if it knocked you down, you still had to get back up. So the gift of resilience, and also give you the space of gratitude, because you have to be grateful that you, on the other side of that failure, learned, expanded, experienced, but you're on the other side. So with success and with failure, the lessons learned give you a new perspective, new confidence to do more. And if you define success, defined by your ability to advance something, make something better, to do more in your life, in your career, in your health, in your business, fear and the experience of it and what's on the other side of it gave you the confidence, the courage, the perspective, the experience to do more.
So when you coach someone and they're in that space of not wanting to use their courage, how do you get someone to use their courage? Or even find it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. A lot of them,
Is imposter syndrome really real, or is it just us faking ourselves out? This is a question I've always had.
It's a buzzword, but it is real. There are a lot of people who've been tapped for something that because of their skill, their tenure, and now they get into these rooms that they've never been in. And while instead of saying, how can I bring something to this room? They're looking around the room. Does this room really accept me? Am I supposed to be here? Do I have the skill set? So it's a real thing. But I believe that, the levels of success will be driven by a level of gratitude. And I go back to gratitude because if you're grateful for the opportunity to make something better because you are in it, you're in the room, you got the role, you got the assignment, you're that role on the team, whatever it is, you got to be grateful for what you can do with your gift. So what I do is help people to get back in touch with their gifts. What are you good at? What are you proud of? What are you passionate about? And what do you believe you can make a difference?
Yeah. That the theory that you teach around personal excellence, and I want to go back to sort of the COVID got people, you're either fitter or fatter, you're either better or bitter. It's like, and you've used that whole center of personal excellence. Tell me more about why that theory, and then let's dive into the theory.
Yeah. So, I noticed, so for example, even me in my profession and working with organizations around the world, during COVID, most of the activity was through virtual. And it was the first time that people had to have this common virtual, presence. And what I saw in any country, in any organization, there were people who leaned in, present, vocal, on camera, video, gonna give it the best that they can. And there were people who what I call were sitting under the table. I'm gonna be in the back, not on camera. I'm gonna be pushed to the balcony. Yeah, I'm logged in, but I'm not dialed in. And I made the analogy. I said it's kind of like when you don't give your best presence when you have the opportunity to do it virtually. It's kind of like you were in a room. If you were in the room back in the office, it's kind of like you're in the room, but you're sitting under the table. Yeah, you're in the room, but you're under the table. And people are like, hey, why are you on the table? We need your contribution. We need your input. We need your presence. We need your energy. You had a choice and you chose to fall back. So COVID really was the divider between being present in the opportunity or just being logged in.
I like that dialed in versus logged in. I think I might use that at some stage with some of my teams around the world. When you think about performance excellence, then, and that, what are the key characteristics of someone performing at their best?
Well, I think it comes from a level of commitment and discipline and intent. So if you look at commitment, discipline, and intention, you have to decide that you have embraced the non-negotiable to be better, to give, 150%, whatever it is. But you've got to decide first in your mind that I'm going to give maximum effort,
Yeah.
maximum preparation.
How is it then, Kaplan? Because, when you look at the high performance athletes, they've already chosen that. Why do they bring someone in like you then? What is that? And maybe give us an example of one or two ways that that helps.
Yeah, so we think of, and I look at CEOs and high level leaders in organizations and elite athletes in a very similar plane. And when I look at that group of that population who've already achieved a certain level of excellence, and what keeps them going and wanting more, doing more. Oftentimes, that intrinsic motivation is you have the opportunity to create the unthinkable if you just focus in a different way. So sometimes it's how do I achieve a personal best as a milestone in terms of my achievement. Sometimes it's how do I create a new strategy to open a new market segment for our business. How do I take AI? How do I take new technology and really change the game for how we drive culture in organizations? So there's got to be a focus on elevated excellence. And what that means, sometimes you have to rethink what's possible. Rethink what's possible. You have to change the environment and the context to drive new purpose in what you do. And then you have to say, how can I think about what this looks like 10 years from now? It's like with health. I always tell people, think about your health journey as a 10-year journey. Who do you want to be? What do you want to look like 10 years from now?
Yeah. When you sit back and you start thinking about that imposter syndrome at one end and the challenging yourself to achieve things that haven't been done before at the other end, how does someone make that leap? I mean, to challenge yourself at that level.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing. And the powerful word you just said is challenge. So people get up every day and they're either managed by a routine or a circumstance, or they're inspired by the challenge of a new opportunity. So every single day, the mindset of give yourself a daily new challenge will push you into the zone of new opportunity, new exploration, new discovery. And so that daily challenge, and especially if you do that with your team as leaders, I coach a lot of CEOs to give teams new challenges daily that elevate their thinking, that brings them up to a perspective of their contribution, their gift inside, which now says, I belong at this table because I brought something to it. Oftentimes the fear of imposter syndrome is, can I bring something to this table that advances the business, the organization, the culture, the mission, or the team? So what do I bring? But you bring something by adding a new level of challenge to the way that you show up.
Yeah, often I think of that as, the role of a coach or the role of a manager or leader is to pose the questions, not so much give the answers.
Yeah. And there are three powerful questions, Brad, that I think that we, during COVID, I started to coach leaders on these three questions. What's the question you wish someone would ask you? Oftentimes empathy, what was missing with teams and leaders is the empathy, leading with empathy during a time where there was a lot of unknowns. You didn't know what was going on behind the screen of your employer or leader or team that was logging in. There was something else going on in the backdrop that you didn't know. So how to coach leaders on leadership empathy, which is, what's something that you wish I would have asked you? What's the question you wish I'd asked? What's the question that you haven't asked me, but if you did, it would unlock new understanding? And what are the questions we're asking ourselves every single day to push us further towards success?
Yeah, questions are dang powerful. They really are. So let's think about this then. If we move down that road and we say, okay, I've got to clarify where I'm going, set my purpose. How do we do that? And how do we get better at clarifying our purpose in life? Or maybe even in work, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, purpose, it's a very heavy word because it involves contribution, impact, perspective, and meaning. Everything that I do in life, what does it add up to? What's the equation? What's my equals? What does it equal? And oftentimes people get into perspective in life where later in life they say, what does it all mean? I've been working. What does it mean? And the question is, what's my purpose? So getting people to early on understand their unique contribution. I ask people to look around in the areas of their life. Where are people saying to you, thank you? Really take a look at the areas of your life where people are saying to you, thank you. That's going to give you a foundation for your meaning, the gift of your presence and being, which will connect to the bridge of your purpose. And then if you define your purpose early, meaning I help someone, like in my business, I help people to change their careers. I help people to grow their careers, to change their life, to grow their brand, to grow their business. But I helped people. So my purpose and my being that I celebrate is I help people to grow. So once you define your purpose, you can live your life extending your significance. And that's a very powerful way to then walk with the being of your in this life, the being of purpose in this life.
That word significance is really important. I think that too many people do things and feel insignificant in the world. They stand behind the counter at the store and they don't feel their significance. You touched on something there that I want to focus in on for a little bit, and that is personal branding. Firstly, why do we need a personal brand today? Why does not just some people, why does everyone need to create their own personal brand out there?
Because I think when you have a brand, you can be known for something. A lot of people work head down, do good work, but they're not known and they're not celebrated. And oftentimes, because they're not known or celebrated, they actually get stuck either mentally because they don't have the recognition that they deserve, stuck in their careers because they're not getting ahead for all the work that they do, or just stuck because they know that there's more that they could do or be or give. So when you have a personal brand with intention, which means here's what I'm known for, you're also celebrating the accomplishment and the contribution that you bring to this world or to your organization. So personal brand is not just about, hey, I want to get promoted in my job. It's about, I want to celebrate the significance of my time doing this and the meaning it had on you or your organization or our team. So I believe that's what, and I love the question because it is about everyone. We should all understand our brand.
Yeah, I think there's a misperception though that it's like, let's create our Instagram brand, and only show. I think our brand is more what you teach and what we stand for. So where do I start on the process of creating that personal brand?
You're absolutely right. So the first thing is there's a difference between followers and influence. A lot of people have followers, but that doesn't mean you have influence. So when you think about creating your brand, it's really, first of all, you got to understand yourself. Who are you? What is it that you're passionate about, proud of? What is your gift to this world, to your organization, to your team? What do you want to be known for? Right? What do you want to be known for? And then what are you going to do consistently to create a unique way to be remembered. Like for me, for example, as a speaker, I speak all around the world, and people know me for one thing: this green tie. Brad, they for this green tie, and I always ask the question, like, "What's up with the green tie?" Green is for growth. As a speaker, I want you to grow your life, grow your career, grow your business, grow your sales, grow your mindset. But I want you to grow, because I tell people, when you look outside, the things that are green are growing.
So let's think that through then. Just for, let's say I've got a job. I don't run the business. Why do I want to build my brand? Why do I want to do that?
Because you are, even though you don't run the business, maybe not making some of the critical decisions, but in your role, wherever you're at, you play an integral contribution to the inner workings of your organization or your team. And you want to know, oftentimes we talk about ROI, which is, return on investment. But there's also this thing called ROE, which is return on effort. You go to work every day, you're putting in whatever your amount of hours or time, or if you're running your business, you're working 24 hours, whatever it is, there's a return on that effort. So your brand means that you're known for the effort that you bring and the significance that you create because of your presence. And because there's no one else like you. There's no one. You walk through the door, there's no one else like you. So intrinsically, when you get in touch with what you bring and then what you're known for, you build a brand to be celebrated because you are present.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, though. Like, there's some people I know in my life, part of their brand is they're happy. I think that we've got to get more value on that values rather than just, they're a hard worker, they're this, they're that, they're that. Like, when you say, what do you want to be known for? I think we need to open the door on that, don't you?
Absolutely, because there's qualities: a nice guy, hard worker, happy, thoughtful. There's skills, I'm analytical, I'm really good with technology. And then there's impact, which is, what did you do to make something better, to make something grow, to make something in a different direction, to change a perspective, to create a new opportunity, or to solve a problem? So skills, qualities, but impact. Your brand is connected to the impact that it creates because of who you are and what you're known for. And that's what we have to get to focus on, that impact.
Yeah, I remember one time you talking about the fact that, how do I put this nicely? People are scared to push themselves forward. Like, they're scared to say, I want to be considered for that promotion, or scared to, promote themselves, I guess. Tell me more about your theories around that, and how do we get through that and want to promote ourselves out there in the world when needed?
Yeah, it's interesting. People want to be seen for an opportunity, but they don't want to be seen on camera. Example, people want they want to promote their skills, but they don't want to brag about their skills. At the end of the day, when you get hired for an opportunity or get to advance your career or your business, people want to know that you are proud of what you do and that you bring excellence in what you do. So you can be humble and authentic and still be proud of the contribution that you make. That's why going back to gratitude and impact is so important, because there's something that you've done in your span of life that puts you in a position to help something else be better. And you've got to be proud of that. And so when you talk about promoting yourself, you're not promoting yourself to say, I did this, I'm so great. It's not about that. It's about what I know and what I've learned. I can have a tremendous impact on something else. And that's why you want me for this job.
Yeah. And what gets someone to that, though, Kaplan? How do I get from, I guess, hiding under the table to dialing in? How do I move from there to there?
First of all, you got to want it. The difference between people who I believe achieve levels of success or, get new roles in organizations, you got to want it. You got to want the opportunity and be passionate about the opportunity to make something better. Some people, they believe that they deserve it because of their tenure, but they don't necessarily want it. You got to want everything that comes with it: the work, the time, the sacrifice, the personal sacrifice. You've got to want it to be able to then put yourself in a position to obtain it. So the difference between, promoting yourself is you want it because you want the impact that you can have. You believe in yourself and you believe in your impact that you can have on others.
Got it. So let's go full circle then. Kaplan Mobray, young man, where did you get it that you wanted it? What drove you in that? How did you get there? Was it an influence? Was it someone? What got you there?
I'd always been a person who, some people don't mind being out front. I remember sixth grade, hey, they asked me to play the piano at the graduation. Yeah, I'll do it. I was, an athlete. I started to get really good grades in school. And I just knew that I was someone who people were watching and observing. And I embraced that. I embraced the fact that, my role in this legacy was to change the generational opportunity, was to come here and create opportunity. So I wanted the opportunity to create opportunity. I wanted it. I wanted it because I knew that I had opportunities that were never presented to, if you go back in generations in my family, never. So I wanted the opportunity to do that. And I was willing to fail, to try, to do whatever it took. But what I learned early on, this very particular principle, it's two things. One, it's if you take initiative, you create opportunities. If you don't take initiative, you lose your options. And so taking initiative, meaning, hey, you were invited to come to this, this meeting, and you're the youngest one in the office. Go to the meeting, or they're going to go play golf, later, and I've never played golf before. I'm going to go play golf, And some people say, oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to do it. But I took opportunity as a gift, and I understood the significance of it. So that helped me. That mindset helped me.
What did you do when you hit the self-doubt then? What was your strategy to get you through it?
I was always a confident, as a growing up, but there were moments where it's like, hey, you've hit a wall, as a athlete, as a runner, and you're trained to compete. You're trained, to compete, So in life, you the preparation of competing and discipline, winning and failing, learning from failure just as much as learning from winning. So a lot of times when I had self-doubt, what picked me up was, you can do this. You can do this. And guess what? If you don't, you can learn from this. So it was what your self-talk created self-action, which created new results. So
hang on, say that again. I think that's important.
Yes, self-talk, right? Creates self-action, which then creates new results. And what you tell yourself really does create what you do. And then what you do creates who you become.
Yeah, I had a mentor once say to me, you're the person you talk to the most, so you better say nice things to yourself,
Absolutely. So when if I've ever hit a wall, I said, Cap, you can do this. Cap, you got this. Cap, let's do this. And even if it's like, hey, you may fail, but what we're going to learn. I'm so excited about the opportunity, but you can do this.
Well, hey there, and thanks for listening. I've noticed that 78% of you are brand new, which means you haven't hit the subscribe button yet. By subscribing, you help us bring on even better guests, better quality content, and serve you better with even more podcasts. So please hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second. It makes a huge difference. If you support us, we're going to support your success and help you achieve big success together. What do you see as the difference between good and great? There's the famous book, Good to Great, good being the enemy of great in some cases. What do you see as the CEOs or the athletes that are just that highest level? What's the difference between the good and the great?
Well, I think, going back to failure and success, they celebrate failure just as much as they celebrate success. And and what that means is they are willing to do something so unconventional, unthinkable, unimaginable, unsolicited, unprecedented, with the same passion as something that they have in their plan. And they're willing to spend the time, the money, the effort, the will, the sacrifice to create that result. So that's the difference. Is, are you willing? Like for me, I'll tell this story. When I wrote my book, I was working really, demanding job, and and most people say there's no time. I said there is no time, but the one thing, Brad, that we all have in common is 24 hours. So I literally put up a ruler and I said, 8 to 6 you work, 6 to 7 you commute, 7 to 9 dinner, 9 to 2 I write, 2 to 6 I sleep. I lived on 4 hours of sleep for a year, just because I said I want to write a book. So that taught me that the difference that separates people is what do you do is hour number 23 just as important as hour number 5.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't, the only thing that you achieve is what's scheduled. It's like, systems and schedules. The older I get, the more important I think systems and schedules become.
Yeah, absolutely. And guess what? And intention. You got to be intentional about it, and you've got to celebrate the things that you do when most people are sleeping, the things that you do when most people are relaxing, the things that I love, Kobe Bryant, and that perspective of just, discipline, that mentality. But it's oftentimes the things that you do that go against convention that create new levels of elevated success.
Kaplan Mobray, number one piece of advice or best quote you ever heard on the subject of success.
All right, so I'm going to give you 3 things, okay? And I really, first of all, the quote that I always give is a quote. My quote is "Live life by decision, not by default." So that's a quote that I always sign every book. You got to be. Life shouldn't happen to you. You should make it happen. Live life by decision, not by default. The second thing that has really guided me, Tim Grover's quote. If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill of regret. And I really love that because it really, it says you have this one amazing opportunity in your lifetime to do something amazing. And then the third is something that, early on in my career, someone had said to me, don't let the perfect get in the way of the possible. You can always course correct, but you've got to take the initiative to make something possible. And that keeps me moving forward.
Love it. Love it. You're on the Big Success Podcast. Kaplan Mobray, learn, study, follow. We'll be back next week with more of your success.
You've been listening to the Big Success Podcast with the #1 business coach in the world, Brad Sugars. To learn more about how to achieve business and personal success, as well as how to level up or listen to past episodes, visit www.bradsugars.com.